I know that some of you are moving from Bitrev to SQL and making these tunes as part of that move. And in that part, we usually like to have our code compliant both with SQL and with Bitrev. But we know that outer join doesn't exist with Pervasive. So we need this code to be able to distinguish if it's using Bitrev to use a find relation, and if it's using SQL to use outer join relation. How do we do that? Well, the quick and dirty is to create an if statement over here, to say if env data provider Bitrev migration use Bitrev, then relation type is find, otherwise relation type is outer join. This statement, by adding it like this, makes sure that only when you're using Bitrev it will use find, and when you're using SQL it will use outer join. Now, since this is a bit too ugly to be written everywhere across the code, let's just add a class called SQL helper, add new item class, and we'll call it SQL helper, and it will be Northwind, and I'll just add here a public static relation type. I've typed the correct name, and by pressing on this light bulb I can say using Firefly box, great, and I'll call this outer join, and I'll tell it to return the exact same if statement. Perfect. So now in my code I can just, let's make this public because we'll probably put it in the base project, so it will be obvious to my entire code base. Very recommended to put it in the base project. And then I'll say here, instead of this, SQL helper outer join. By doing this, I will get outer join when I'm in SQL and find when I'm using Pervasive. And that is the way we can support both Pervasive and SQL with the same code base. Now, as you proceed, you will add more functionality to this SQL helper to make your life easier. Great, let's save this. Let's review the changes. So instead of saying relation type outer join, we are saying SQL helper outer join, and we know that SQL helper is responsible to returning if you're using Bitrev find and if you're using SQL outer join.